Solar net metering. Solar net metering is one of the most important policies in the global transition toward clean energy, and it can best be understood as both a technical process and an economic framework that empowers ordinary citizens, businesses, and institutions to generate their own electricity through solar panels and feed excess energy back into the power grid, receiving credits for the contribution they make, thereby creating a balanced relationship between producers and consumers of electricity. The concept at its core is elegantly simple, but carries with it profound implications for energy independence, environmental sustainability, and long-term economic stability. When a household or business installs a solar photovoltaic PV system on its rooftop or property, those solar panels capture sunlight and convert it into usable electricity, which can directly power lights, appliances, and machinery within that building. However, solar energy production is not constant throughout the day, as output depends on the position of the sun, weather conditions, and seasonal variations, meaning that at times there will be a surplus of generation, particularly in midday hours when sunlight is strong and demand inside the building might be lower than the system's output. And at other times, such as at night or on cloudy days, the building will require more electricity than the panels are capable of producing. Traditionally, without a system like net metering, any excess energy generated during the day would simply be wasted or require expensive battery storage, and consumers would still need to rely on the grid extensively during non-sunny hours. But net metering solves this imbalance by allowing the grid itself to function as a kind of virtual battery. When your solar panels produce more electricity than you consume, the excess flows into the local grid, effectively spinning your meter backwards or adding credits to your utility account. And when your panels are not generating enough electricity to meet your needs, you draw electricity back from the grid, with your bill reflecting only the net difference between what you exported and what you imported. Hence, the name net. This policy framework turns consumers into prosumers, meaning they are simultaneously producers and consumers of electricity, and that shift not only decentralizes energy production but also democratizes it, giving ordinary people a stake in how energy is generated and consumed in their communities. The economic benefits of net metering are significant. By reducing electricity bills, households and businesses can achieve payback periods on their solar investments within a few years, after which the system provides virtually free electricity for decades. Since solar panels often carry performance warranties of 25 to 30 years, and the ability to offset consumption with grid credits further enhances return on investment, utilities initially resisted net metering in many regions, arguing that widespread adoption could undermine their revenue models or place unfair cost burdens on non-solar customers. But research and real-world experience have demonstrated that distributed solar paired with net metering can reduce strain on transmission infrastructure, decrease peak demand during sunny hours, and lower overall system costs, thereby providing value to both utilities and society as a whole. Environmentally, the policy plays a crucial role in decarbonization. By incentivizing households and businesses to adopt solar, net metering directly displaces electricity that would otherwise come from fossil fuel sources such as coal, oil, or natural gas, reducing greenhouse gas emissions and local air pollution, which in turn improves public health and helps nations meet their climate commitments. In addition, net metering encourages local job creation, as more solar installations mean more demand for engineers, technicians, electricians, sales professionals, and maintenance crews, thereby stimulating green economic growth. From a technical perspective, implementing net metering requires bidirectional meters capable of accurately tracking the flow of electricity in both directions, as well as regulatory frameworks that define the crediting system, billing cycle, and compensation rates. In most places, customers receive retail rate credits for the electricity they export, meaning the same value they would have paid to purchase a kilowatt hour is credited to their account for every kilowatt hour they send back to the grid. Though some regions use avoided cost or wholesale rates, which are lower and provide less financial incentive, leading to policy debates about fairness, cost allocation, and the long-term sustainability of the model. As solar adoption grows, some utilities and regulators are exploring modifications to traditional net metering, such as Pricing capacity limits or grid service fees in order to balance the interest of solar customers with those of the broader system, but the core principle remains that individuals should be rewarded for the clean energy they contribute to society. In developing countries, net metering has been particularly transformative, enabling urban households and small businesses to reduce reliance on unstable grids and frequent blackouts, while in rural areas it can complement off-grid and microgrid solutions, creating hybrid systems where local solar power stabilizes supply and reduces diesel generator use. In wealthier nations, net metering has accelerated residential and commercial solar adoption, making rooftop solar mainstream and creating communities where thousands of homes collectively act as a distributed power plant. Critics sometimes argue that net metering is a subsidy that distorts market prices. But defenders point out that traditional fossil fuel generation receives far larger subsidies in the form of tax breaks, subsidies, and unaccounted for externalities like health costs and environmental damage. Thus, net metering can be seen not as a subsidy, but as a fair mechanism to level the playing field and recognize the true value of clean distributed generation. Beyond economics and environment, there is also a cultural and psychological dimension. Net metering gives individuals a sense of empowerment, as they can watch their meters run backwards on sunny days and know they are directly contributing to a cleaner planet, often inspiring neighbors and communities to follow suit. Case studies around the world show the power of this approach. In California, net metering policies helped the state become a global leader in rooftop solar adoption. In Germany, though, the policy framework differs slightly under the feed-in tariff system. The spirit of decentralized generation has transformed the energy landscape in India. Net metering has enabled households in cities like Delhi and Bangalore to slash electricity bills while easing pressure on strained utilities. And in countries across Africa, emerging net metering schemes are helping communities leapfrog into a renewable future without building massive centralized plants. The policy also interacts with other technologies. As battery storage becomes more affordable, households can combine net metering with batteries to maximize self-consumption and provide backup power during outages, creating resilient homes that remain powered even when the grid goes down. Similarly, electric vehicles can be paired with rooftop solar under net metering schemes, allowing consumers to effectively fuel their cars with sunshine and reduce reliance on imported oil. Looking ahead, the evolution of net metering will likely involve more sophisticated pricing models, integration with smart grids, and new opportunities for peer-to-peer energy trading, where neighbors can sell excess solar power directly to each other using blockchain or digital platforms. But the fundamental idea that the grid should act as a partner, not an adversary to distributed solar generation, will remain central. The story of net metering is therefore a story of transition, from centralized fossil-based systems to decentralized, renewable networks, from passive consumers to active prosumers, from financial dependency on utilities to energy independence, and from pollution and inefficiency to sustainability and resilience. By linking individual action with collective benefit, solar net metering creates a bridge between the rooftops of today and the clean energy systems of tomorrow, ensuring that every ray of sunlight hitting a panel contributes not only to the comfort of a single household, but to the well-being of the planet as a whole. And while debates over rates, policies, and technical details will continue, the broader trajectory is clear. Net metering has already proven itself as a cornerstone of the renewable revolution. And as costs of solar continue to fall, as climate urgency continues to rise, and as communities around the world demand greater control over their energy futures, it will remain one of the most effective, elegant, and inspiring tools in the global toolkit for building a sustainable tomorrow.